Special good evening to you. Welcome to this first segment of broadcast on Apex One Radio. This day, March the 13th, 2025. It's a beautiful evening here in the state of Ohio, precisely in the HO city of Columbus, the chief city of the state of Ohio. We are in the Midwest regions of the United States of America. Once again, thank you very much. My name is Ernest. Marcel Adig is the producer of this segment of broadcast on Apex One Radio. We're getting moral support from Queen V. And it's going to be another exciting moment with you. And we're going to begin this segment of broadcast with the Apex Information Flash. And so a lot has been happening in the state of Ohio and beyond. So we're back on radio today to talk about it and, of course, share some valuable information with you all out there. Once again, thank you so much and welcome. So tonight we take a closer look at Governor Mike DeWine's recent State of the State address, where he declared that the state of the state is strong. According to New Americans magazine, the governor highlighted Ohio's progress in key areas, including the economy, job creation, education, and of course, healthcare reforms. We will focus primarily on his education plans for the state and what they meant or what they mean for students, educators, and families across Ohio. And joining us shortly will be news analyst Taiwo Akinlami, who covered the governor's State of the State address yesterday at the State House. The governor was speaking in front of legislators and members of the Ohio public. But we will also take a look at the world of art and entrepreneurship. We will be speaking to Shiri Achu. Shiri is an international fine artist and painter who is based in Washington, D.C., and she is a quarterfinalist in the Entrepreneur of Impact competition. Tonight, she throws more light on that. And of course, that will be the package this evening on Apex One Radio. Once again, thank you so much and welcome to the News Flash. Without much ado, let's begin the show with our guests tonight, Shiri and Taiwo. First, with the lady. Shiri, welcome to the program. How are you doing tonight?
I am very well, thank you. Thank you for having me as usual. Thank you so much. It's good to be
And
here.
how is DC this evening?
DC has been cold. I feel like I'm in London. It's grey and cold.
Well, let's hope that it gets warmer.
Yes.
All right. So, also joining us tonight is news analyst Taiwo, who covered the governor's State of the State address yesterday, and he's here to throw more light on that. Taiwo, good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you tonight.
How are you today?
I'm doing very great.
I'm tempted to ask you, Taiwo, how is the state of Ohio doing?
Well, the state of Ohio is doing well. I mean, we heard that from the governor yesterday. He gave a speech of close to 1 hour, 20 minutes and spoke eloquently about the achievements of the state. I think that when you say Ohio is great, then you back up whatever you are saying with facts. You know, the governor was able to show us yesterday extensive facts, both in deed and in the future, the things that he plans to do. And
beautiful. We'll be coming back to that, Taiwo. The governor addressed legislators of Ohio yesterday, including members of the public, and the New Americans magazine was there to cover that event. Taiwo is back with his analysis on radio. But let's begin with Shiri, who is a fine artist and painter. She is a contestant at the Entrepreneur of Impact, like I said earlier on. Shiri, once again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, is this the first time you are participating in the Entrepreneur of Impact competition, Shiri?
Yes, it is. It is. I was one fine day, I was scrolling through my Facebook and then I saw this thing and I'm like, you know what? I think I could take a chance at this. And I applied.
Okay. It will be interesting for our listeners to know exactly what this competition is all about, the Entrepreneur of Impact. So what is it about and who is the organizer?
So basically, it's an online, I think, sort of joined by Facebook,
Mhm.
online competition where anybody, anywhere in the world, could sort of, enter.
Mhm.
I think they do a general first scan, and then you're selected, and then you're put into a pool of people. The first round, you have to go through. You're put in a group of between 90 to 100 people,
Okay.
and then you go through the top 20, top 15, top 10, top 5, and then only one person moves on to the quarterfinal.
Okay.
So last 2 weeks ago, I won that round, the group rounds, which was very exciting.
Mhm.
So now in the quarterfinals, and it's tough because everybody who's at the quarterfinals have had to win their group. And I think it may have started with maybe something like 5,000 people. So we're
So,
down.
if I understood you, Shiri, you started from the top 20
We started at top 100.
or
So,
top
so you
100.
you are put into pools of different groups,
Okay.
and then you have to win. So first of all, they eliminate you. First of all, have to be top 20.
Okay.
Then every week they shave another 5 people off. Top 20, top 15, top 10, top 5, and then you win. And only the winners go through to the quarterfinals.
Mm.
So I've gone through this. This thing started in January. So it's a whole long process of, okay, am I going through this week? Am I going through this week? So we're now at the quarterfinals, and today's fact is the last day for the quarterfinals. So I'm at number 4 right now. If I don't make it today, then I will be out.
Hopefully, make it Shiri will definitely be back with you. That is international fine artist and painter Shiri Achu, who is a contestant at the Entrepreneur of Impact. And back to the state of Ohio, Taiwo, the governor said in his vision for 2025 that he wants social studies content embedded in school material, especially when it concerns reading and writing. I would like us to focus on his education and children's vision for the state of Ohio. I know he spoke about the economy as well. What did the governor mean by social studies content in the context of Ohio schools? You have to unmute yourself, Taiwo.
I think the first thing I want to say about the speech of the governor yesterday is that the speech looks more into the future than looking into the past.
Okay.
And that is brilliant. And that gives a lot of hope. The governor acknowledged that there are certain issues, but he focused on the future. And that is can be analyzed two ways for me.
Mhm.
Focusing on the future in the sense that it talks to us more about the things he wants to do,
Mhm.
give us things to think about. Number two is the fact that he focused a lot about the children of Ohio, right? From literacy to the social studies and all of that. And so for me, it is a major leap that because you see, the challenge is that the future right now is that our children has to move beyond academics, that is technical skill. We need to move from technical skill to soft skill. We need to
Okay.
move from technical skill to everyday skill, that are critical, because research has found that, in life, to succeed in life, you just need 20% of hard skill, that is
Okay.
technical skill, and 80% of soft skill. So for me, I think the governor was looking in the direction of how to prepare our young people for the future, whatever we need to do, whatever support they need. Whether when he spoke about Ohio C, which is getting glasses for children to ensure that they are able to see, children that are short-sighted, whether I was talking about the social studies, or whether I was talking about soft skill for our children to prepare them for the future, whether I was talking about drug addiction, or I was talking about the need for families to be empowered in the face of sweeping poverty, whatever I was talking about yesterday was predicated upon the fact that children were in the front burner of his commitment.
So I'll stay with you, Taiwo, to say that Governor DeWine highlighted that there is an ongoing effort with the Ohio History Connection to increase the focus on Ohio history in schools, starting with kindergarten. So is the governor saying that there hasn't been enough history lessons in schools? Otherwise, how devastating could it be when kids do not know and understand their own history?
Well, I think there's always room for improvement.
Hmm.
Life in itself, breadth is a proof that there's more to conquer. That's what a gentleman known as Mike Murdoch said. He said, breadth is a sign that there's more to conquer. So as long as we believe there will be need for improvement, right?
Hmm.
And so I don't think that it is about the fact that our children were not learning history. It's about the fact that we need to pay more attention to it. Our children need to learn history. George Bernard Shaw said that the tragedy of history is that we don't learn from history. But how do you learn for something you don't even know?
Hmm.
And so that's why I said at the beginning that I appreciate the speech of the governor yesterday. Rather than looking in the past, he was looking in the future. He identified the issues we are dealing with in the future. Then he took us on a ride, on a journey, on a journey, on an excursion into the future.
Mhm.
And I think that was very impressive, right? What as I was looking at it yesterday, I was drawing a parallel between that and what happens where I come from, and what happens what is the impact of all of that on the immigrant community in Columbus, in Ohio, generally. And so the way my mind was working is that, I've listened to governors in my country, Nigeria. I've listened to local government chairmen. I've not seen them, even in their budgets, I've not seen them pay that much attention to children who are our future, who are the people from whom we borrowed this word. Somebody said, we do not inherit the word from our forefather, we borrow it from our children, right? That is an Indian American proverb. And so when we understand that, we know that children are the future. There's no legacy without children, And so I'm impressed, so much impressed by the disposition, the body language of the state enunciated in the speech that the governor made yesterday. The governor made a speech for 1 hour, 20 minutes or thereabout, spoke about children for like 50 minutes of that speech. He came yesterday to declare the future, that the future is meant for our young people. And he addressed everything that affects them. Now, by that, he did not neglect the veterans. He did not neglect the older people. He did not neglect the parents. He did not neglect infrastructure. He did not neglect the economy. He spoke about the economy. That was an 18-page speech when we finally received it. And this morning, I did an analysis for the New American magazine. I punched out, in a Microsoft Word document, over a 4-page article addressing the disposition of that speech, to children. And I think it's impressive.
There's no legacy without children. Taiwo Akinlami writes for the New Americans magazine. He covered the governor's 2025 annual State of the State address yesterday. This is Apex News Flash on Apex One Radio. Back to Shiri Achu. Shiri, tell us, do the contestants for this competition come from various backgrounds, or we just have maybe artists or fine artists like you?
So anyone in any discipline, any entrepreneur could have applied.
Okay.
And I just want to piggyback on what he just said about children. So the whole contest, there are free votes and there are also donate votes, and part of this whole competition is that they're trying to drive, gathering a lot of money for Gen Youth children's for children. So it's all geared at sort of, all the pool of money that has been gathered through this competition is going through towards children, in order to help them thrive in education. So the school children.
Mhm.
So I'm just also saying, piggybacking on the fact that this exhibition is also going towards the proceeds. So everybody who has donated via, the donate button is the funds will go towards that as well.
Mm.
But
And,
anybody in any discipline could apply. So we have, artists, we have fashion designers, we have people who have created different things. It's a whole club owners. Anybody who believes that their thing is create some kind of impact could have applied.
definitely, we do understand that it's been a very highly contested race. Tell us about the voting process. Is it online? How does it go?
Yes, so it has been online. It's been free votes on Facebook.
Okay.
And there's also the donate button where you can donate $10, for 10 votes, $50 for 50 votes. And there've been some special days where it doubles, so $2. So every one vote is doubled.
And we are seeing a very handsome package for whoever becomes
Yes.
winner at the end of the day. $25,000, correct?
$25,000 is going towards the one winner. So of 5,000 people, just the one person is going to win this amount. Not only that, it's also, meeting and having mentorship with Damon John, and also being on Forbes magazine. So to some extent, those are it's even the money will eventually finish. But I think having mentorship with Damon John and being on Forbes magazine, those are also incredible. So I think everyone has been fighting so hard, because it could be life changing. So people have been we have been working very hard. And it's such a shame because it's just the one person. It's not like it's one or two. It's literally just the one person out of 5,000 plus people.
Okay.
Oh
wow. Okay. But if I got you correctly, there is some charity involved in this. You mentioned children.
Yes.
So are you being dictated on how this $25,000 should be utilized?
No, you are allowed to use the funds as you wish.
Okay.
But when people vote for you, there's a free vote that everyone can vote once a day on Facebook. But there's another means that if you have people who want to vote using, funds, they can as well. But the funds that have been accumulated through the donate button, it's all going towards Gen Youth charity. Yeah.
You're listening to the Apex News Flash on Apex One Radio, 8 minutes to 8 here in the studio. We're live from the United States of America, precisely from Columbus. Welcome on board if you are just joining us. Back to the state of Ohio, where its governor was addressing legislators and members of the public at a State of the State address yesterday. Covering the event was New American Magazine's Taiwo Akinlami, who is analyzing the governor's speech with us here on radio. Now, Taiwo, the governor emphasized the development of essential practical life skills, as you mentioned earlier on, but he was specific on aspects like time management, problem solving, teamwork, and critical thinking. He also mentioned adaptability. But critical thinking caught my attention. And we're talking about schools here and kids. Should kids be thinking about critical thinking at this early stage of their lives? Doesn't that look too big for them, Taiwo?
I'm raising a 3-year-old, that was born to me, close to my 52nd birthday. And so I can see that it's a thinking being, it's a reasoning being. Critical thinking, it's the way to raise children. I mean, you teach children how to think, right? And combined with what to think, because that is value, right? Then both must go by side. I don't agree with those people who say you can't teach children what to think, right? Because thinking is feeding on values. You are feeding on something. That's thinking. So at this stage of his life, we help him we show him the value that we think is critical, universal values, right? According to God's command, we are people of faith. Then we expect that he will reason through those things. So critical thinking is important. You know that Jack Ma, who the owner of Alibaba, said, few years ago that by the year 2030, 800 million jobs will be lost to machine. And he was making the point that the world has gone to a point now where we need to de-emphasize technical skill, because machines are taking over technical skills, right? You see driverless buses. When you go to China, you see driverless buses, right? Now in America, there are driverless cars, we have pilotless plane, we have machines in the consulting room. We have machines that can operate cancer. So the world, as with the combination, when you look at the fourth industrial revolution, you look at the Internet of Things, you look at nanotechnology, you take a look at all of this, you see the world is changing. There's hardly anything a man can technically do now that a machine cannot do. So the selling point of the future, and that is the linchpin for me yesterday in the speech that the governor made. I'm cutting that part of the speech, and next week I'm doing a full analysis on it, on my YouTube channel, because I want to interrogate what the governor was saying. The governor was declaring to us what obtains in the future. And so the critical thing today is critical thinking, grit, G-R-I-T, empathy, kindness, ability to put yourself in other people's shoes. Seth Godin, the marketing guru, said, when my son goes to school and returns, I don't ask him, how did you do today in terms of how did you perform in maths, geography, and all of that. I ask him, who did you help today? What problem did you solve today? And he went further to say, he said, don't get me wrong, I'm not against my child having been a straight A student, but I'm more interested in the quality of his soul, his love quotient, but even more than his intelligence quotient. And that's what the government was talking about yesterday. We need to prepare our children for the future. Our environment is become more toxic by the day. With the advent of the social media, the fact that everybody is on to himself, God for us all, we find a situation where our children cannot even make friends anymore. Social skills are almost zero. They bury themselves in their phones. You go to the airport, if you go to the airport, I've been traveling before the advent of cell phones. And so when I traveled in those days, but whether it was a local flight or it was an international flight, it was an opportunity for us to meet people, to talk to people, to interact. But today, there's a barrier going on in our airports, mass barrier. What is this barrier? We bury our heads in our phone.
We're sorry about the technical quality of Taiwo's intervention there. He will definitely be back with us. This is Apex One Radio. You're listening to Apex News Flash, reaching you live from the studio. Let's see if Taiwo is back. Taiwo, you were breaking there. Welcome back. Do you want to unmute yourself, Taiwo?
As I was trying to munch something, thinking that I was
right. So you were breaking there, Taiwo, and you were talking about children.
Yes. So for me, what the governor was talking about yesterday is seen into the future. There's an effort now to reduce the time that children even spend in school, right? Because our children are under pressure, the pressure to perform. Parents are not taking it easy with children. So we need to bring out the soft side of our children. And that's what Jack Ma had been advocating for years. The soft side of life is what makes a difference. You see, 80% of our success in life is going to be attributable to our soft side of life. Our ability to think, our ability to empathize, our ability to show kindness, our ability to think ahead, our ability to create. That is all the people that are succeeding in life, like many years ago, Ziegler has argued to say that in life, he said he has worked with Fortune 500 companies. He said those who rise to the top of those organizations, blue chip international organizations, that those who rise to the top are men and women of great deportment and civility, right? That is what is missing in our children today. And so the governor talking about that yesterday, and he made a point, which is important that we call attention to. He said, we are preparing our children for the future. It is important to give them the tools, now, not technical skill, to give them the moral tools, to give them the moral tool, to give them the soft skill that will help them to function in the future. And I think that is foresight right there. That is seen beyond the surface. That is seeing what many other people are not seeing.
Beautiful. Taiwo will stay in that line to say that.
And let me say this: that is seeing what Africa does not see. I want to ask Shiri a question very quickly. Shiri, you say that if one wants to vote, when is the vote end? Is the vote on?
In 2 hours.
In 2 hours. So if one wants to vote, if you put $10, so do you direct the $10 towards your candidate you are voting for?
No, the $10 goes to the Gen Youth charity, which
so
they
you have 10 votes.
So I get 10 votes, and that all channels towards the Gen Youth charity that they have chosen. So all the contestants, all the donate votes are going towards that very same charity. I think they're based in New York.
Okay, so what I'm asking is that, so if I want to vote for you,
yes,
if I put in $10,
yes,
does my 10 votes, the money goes to the not-for-profit, but the 10 votes go to you?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I just want to confirm.
Yes.
So I'd like to have the link so that I could
thank you.
I could do some votes.
Maybe we can do this. We can actually go. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, Shiri will have time to share the link shortly before we run off this conversation. But I wanted to stay on with Taiwo, and I want you to briefly explain this to me, because the governor said that one of his plans is to ensure the integration of career planning into existing high school graduation plans, which will help students define their career goals and identify the kind of education or the kind of training they would love to achieve. But I was just curious, because we're in 2025 and kids in America usually always know where they are headed at. They usually always know what they intend to become in the future. So is that supposed to be a topic in 2025?
Well, when you say kids in America, we must not lose sight of kids in the inner city.
Okay.
I've worked in the inner city. I've gone to schools right there. I've seen children who are already working, right? I've seen children from single mothers, right? And they are telling me they are not likely to go to college. They want to work when they leave high school. And I'm asking them, why don't you want to? Say, my mom has suffered a lot. My dad abandoned us. We are 3, we are 4. My dad abandoned us so many years ago. My mom has been the only one. So the governor was making a valid point to say that we have to help children from high school. Not everybody might have to go to college, right? Not everybody may go there at the end of the day. So it is important, therefore, to begin to talk to these young people about career, about the future, about what they can do, about what is available, about the opportunities. You see, it is the opportunities that you see that you pursue. Working with going to the facilities of YMCA, seeing young people, girls, boys who are falling through the system. The governor was also making a point yesterday about the huge gap in foster care. The fact that children are sleeping in the offices, for example, in Franklin County, Franklin County Children's Services, children are sleeping in offices, children are sleeping in hotels, right? Because the system is broken vis-a-vis, foster parenting. Now, those are major issues. So children are going through a lot, and so their future must be guaranteed. How do we guarantee their future? The soft skill that governor was talking about yesterday. Then also, how do we help them to plan? I'm working with, I'm a volunteer, I'm a court-appointed special advocate, and I'm working with teenagers, I'm working with children. One of the children I'm working with is aging out of the system. He's 17, he's going to be 18 in September. And no parents, nobody to look up to, right? Just working to ensure that there's a future and a hope. Such children who do not have people that can plan for them. Ernest, you are going to plan for your own children because you are an involved father. There are, there are fathers that have walked away from home. There are women who are the only one raising their children. They can't do it all. So it is important for the state to think for those people, to put in place a program that gives them an opportunity to be able to plan their future, working with their secondary caregivers, working with their secondary parents. And I think that is the beauty of that. It is a huge gap. Another thing I want you to keep in mind is that the governor will not come and address a problem that does not exist. A lot of these things that the governor was saying, before he said those things, he will give you a baseline. This is where we are right now. This is what is going on right now. So to solve that problem, because you don't solve a problem that does not exist, the whole speech yesterday would have been useless if the governor was just there to talk theory or just to excite us or just to make political statements.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Taiwo Akinlami, who is a news analyst, doubles as a children's advocate and a writer. Taiwo is author of books, some of which we've talked about on this platform. Let us move back to the international painter. So, Shiri, I flipped through your page, your Facebook account just before this conversation, and in one of the posts you explain how and why the other two contestants at this stage of the competition are slightly have a slight edge over you as we speak. Could you elaborate on that and explain what is needed for you to rise above them?
So to my opinion, which I put out there, so the current number one is from Kenya.
Okay.
And I know there's a huge solidarity amongst Kenyans and
East Africans.
So my take on it is that the whole of Kenya or the whole of East Africa is voting. Daily they would be voting. They'll be dutifully making sure that he is on top, because you need, for the free votes to work, you need a mass of people.
Right.
Now the second contestant, he is a chief marketing strategist.
Okay.
And he's also a nightclub legend. And he's also dedicated to financial freedom. So to that, I noticed that he doesn't really do much, but all of a sudden, bam, he's right there. So for me, it's like he has the money to be able to just throw it in and then overtake. So for me, I'm looking at both of them. I'm thinking, okay, so it's solidarity, or it's, if you have the money, how you're going to overtake. So, and I'm here, trying to manage both to see if I can. But it's been proving very tough because they have been number one for a while. I was number one for about 2 weeks during the program, so I know how it is. When you are So it has to be a lot of people voting for you to maintain the number one position, or you have to have a lot of money to be able to to keep that number one or number two spot.
But at this, Shiri, you led the race in one of its stages, which is not bad. But how would you evaluate your performance during this whole journey? What were some of the pitfalls? What were some of your strengths?
So I think on this second one, the first one was very good. Like I said, I was number one for about 2 weeks. Every day I'd wake up and I'd be like, I'm at number one. It was very tedious, trying to maintain a number one spot for 2 weeks. So getting that, and then, that gave me a false sense of security, I think, because when we move now into the quarterfinal, I should have mobilized people early enough. I should have created videos fast enough and sort of mobilized, sent it out to people with bloggers and people. And I don't think, again, I think because I was number one for so long, I had a false sense of security. So now, I thought, okay, it's all right. I'm going to relax for a little bit and then bring people at the end. But when you're number one already, and you're trying to you're maintaining, so you're staying ahead and you're adding. So it's now a little bit more difficult to catch up. That's the problem. So for me, I should have started on the get-go with I don't think I bought in. I was energetic enough at the beginning. So that was my own mistake. But overall, I have had people from all over the world, growing up in London and having exhibitions in Australia, England, Nigeria,
Jamaica.
and different parts of the world. I have had all those people come together, and vote and donated. So I have just seen just how much I am valued as an artist and in what I do. So in respect, I this has been an eye opener for me to really see that what I do actually has an impact. So I'm very grateful for it.
We cannot rule out the possibility of winning yet. We still have like 1.5 hours to go.
Yes.
We do believe in miracles. So for those who haven't voted yet and they still have this a couple of minutes left, what should they do?
So I don't know. Are you able to put up the link on there so people can see it? Because it's Entrepreneur of Impact and then / Shiri Achu Art. I don't know if I should send that to you and then you share it or how. Or maybe you can share it at the end.
Sure.
Okay.
Entrepreneur of Impact / Shiri Art.
So let me. It's let's see. Entrepreneur of Impact. Let me copy and send it to you right now.
All right, Entrepreneur of Impact.
Do you have it on your Facebook page?
Yes, it's on my Facebook page.
Okay. So what's your Facebook page? So
Shiri Achu Art.
Shiri Achu Art. Shiri is SHIRI. Then Achu is ACHU. Then Arts just like ARTS, correct?
No S.
No S. Art.
Yes.
All right, Shiri Achu Art.
Yes.
Shiri Achu Art. So if you go to that Facebook account, you'll be able to.
On your page.
You're on my page.
Guided on how to.
Okay,
vote.
so if you scroll down, probably what the one of the poster, you'll see the link.
All right.
Okay, I'm just seeing your videos.
Oh, are you?
If you're just joining us, this is Apex News Flash on Apex One Radio. We're gradually but steadily moving to the end of this information session. Let me stay with Shiri. So Shiri, what next? When it ends today, are they going to pronounce the winner today? And for those of you who went this close to winning but did not win, if I told you don't at the end, do you have? Are you going to benefit from any compensation for your participation?
Nope, that's it. I wish they would give us even a consolation prize. Sorry?
I said winner takes all.
The winner takes all. So winner takes all. That's it. All or nothing.
All right. Shiri, we'll be back with you to run off. Time for us to go back to Taiwo and maybe run off as well. So Taiwo, there is one other point which caught my attention when Governor DeWine is supposed to have said that he wants to do more to get cell phones out of schools. So this is what the governor said. It's time to finish the job and ban cell phones in all Ohio schools so kids can learn.
Yes, please.
I'm going to say this. We have advocates of digital technology who hold strongly that though cell phones are destructive and could distract kids as a matter of fact, but these are indispensable communication tools that have come to stay. And we've seen that because attempts to stop cell phone use in so many places, including schools, have virtually failed. So how urgent is the need to stop these gadgets in schools, especially? And do you think that the governor is going to succeed in his attempt to stop cell phones?
So the first thing I want to say is this. We know that obviously the governor cannot be opposed to communication, right?
Okay.
It can be a blanket plan that Children will now not be able to reach their loved ones when they are in school. There will definitely be an arrangement for that. See, the question is this. I'm careful to criticize what is going on right now because we have never lived in this time before.
Right.
We have not lived in this time before. We are working through this time, experimenting this through this time, looking for the best for our children. I think the most important thing is that the impact of cell phone in the hands of our children, particularly in school, the impact is well documented and it's more negative than positive. And that is why the effort is being made. Now, we may take phones away from our children and discover that we are in error, right? We will learn. But the most important thing is that someone has to try. Someone has to do something. What we cannot just continue to do is to complain without doing something. We keep working through this period. My son, 3-year-old, was born as Generation Alpha. Is growing as Generation Beta. And by the time he's 17, he's transiting to Generation Gamma. So you find that a child born, transiting within 3 generations, right? Imbibing the culture, the thinking, the socialization. It's tough for children. Children are going through a whole lot. They need a whole lot of guidance. They need adults in their lives to think and think and think again, because we are in a time in our life and in the history of mankind that we have never lived before. And so we must make effort. We must do what we think is right for our children. That does not mean we will be right. We may be wrong. We win some, we lose some. We get some right, we get some, we do not get some right. But the most important thing is that the impact of the phones in the hands of our children. Are you aware that schools now are suing these social media giants to pay for mental health of children, saying that the state of the mental health of our children is traceable to their exposure to these gadgets and these platforms, right? There is a research that BBC published last week to say that one of the social media platforms is encouraging, sexual abuse of children, right? And a particular country has banned that particular platform from their country on the basis of that report, by BBC last week. So things are happening, in the dark web. Those who want to abuse our children are taking charge of the media. You see, the mistake we make is this. We think that when everybody moved online, those who want to abuse our children stayed offline. No, they were there before us. They are on ground to ensure that they do their evil enterprise online. That is why we must do everything to safeguard our children. The other argument is that people say you collect phone from children, but when they go to school, they see interactive board. They are exposed to technology and all of that. That is technology for a purpose. We should not mistake all of these things and we should not mix them up, right? We may also need to control that. But the most important thing is that I think I support wholeheartedly what the governor is trying to do. I think is the right step in the right direction. Let's try it. Let's see how far it goes. I know it will be reviewed to see how far it has worked. And one thing I know that we are not going to do is to deceive ourselves, in this matter, because we are dealing with the destiny and the lives of children. I tell you, Mr. Ernest, lives are involved. Our children are taking their own lives. Things are being messed up. Young people have been exposed to the things they should not be exposed to. Things that I never had the opportunity of being exposed to in my childhood. It is one of the most difficult times to be a young person, I must tell you. Again,
beautiful. Let's try it and see how far it goes. Taiwo, I would suggest that we have a much more elaborate conversation on this particular topic. We're going to plan for that, and I'll let you know and bring other speakers so that we can talk about this. So we're about to run off. We will just bring Shiri back. Shiri, I do understand that you are about to lose this competition, but you actually won.
It's not over until the fat lady sings, as to say.
Yes, but you actually won an outstanding young Cameroonian award recently, which makes up for that. Briefly, tell us about that before we run off.
So I was nominated. I was simply by the Cameroonian Diaspora Youth Network for the category of Diaspora Community and Cultural Leadership. So my efforts in empowering young communions in the US.
Okay,
Yeah, that was
that's
that Saturday.
interesting. Congratulations. And you also did an exhibition to commemorate the 40th International Women's Day in DC. That was like a couple of days ago.
Yes,
Tell us about it. How did it go?
it was wonderful. That was at the Cameroon Embassy. I was invited to have a little exhibition of about 15 pieces, and that was great. I made some sales, and it was, just to honor women for Women's Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was exciting.
Yes.
Just before we run off this conversation, we just want to inform you that on April the 5th this year, the Columbus film loving community would converge on Phoenix Lennox 24 Theater, downtown Columbus, for the premiere of When Love Happens. When Love Happens is a new Liberian movie that is produced and directed by Carter Davis and her KL Mansa Production Studios. So that event takes place at the Phoenix Lennox 24 Theater at 777 Kenya Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43212. Red carpet begins at 5 p.m. Showtime is 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale for $50 and $100 respectively. $50 would be for regular tickets, and for the $100, you have a VIP ticket. So to grab your ticket, you can contact 614-804-7909. 614-804-7909. So, like I said, that event takes place at the Columbus heart of cinema, which is the Phoenix Lennox 24 Theater. When Love Happens was shot in the United States of America with talented Liberian actors starring. It was directed by Carter Davis and produced by KKL Mansa Studios production. Well, we're back with that story, but time for us to run off. Taiwo, we are about to run off with this edition of Apex News Flash. So the governor ended by saying that the state is in a good state. So, what future do you see for Ohio, especially with the new administration?
I rounded off my piece today, which I wrote for the New American Magazine. Vigilance is the price of liberty. The governor have said everything he wants to say. What makes democracy work is participation, people holding government accountable. So what the governor did yesterday was to make declarations, and what he was saying to us is that hold me accountable. See, because the question is, why will he make that speech? He could have just kept quiet in his office and be implementing those things. Why is the state of the state speech created? Why does date like that come? Is for the governor to come out and say, hold me accountable, right? Ask me question. And that's how I rounded up my article today. I said, look, now the governor has declared the things that he wants to do. It is now our responsibility as citizens and members of this union to ensure that we hold government accountable. And that's what we are going to do. That's what we're going to do at the level of New American Magazine. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do personally at my own level, to ask questions, particularly for my constituency. My constituency is the family, parents, and children. That is my eternal constituency. So to make sure that I continue to ask questions, I was the happiest person yesterday because of the fact that I saw a speech that gave adequate and very powerful attention to the constituency that I serve, and so it's for me an opportunity to hold government accountable.
And for more on that story, you can go to thenewamericansmagazine.com, thenewamericansmag.com, thenewamericansmag.com. You will read that story, which was written by, co-written by Deba Wadi Ain, Taiwo Akinlami. Taiwo, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure. Shiri, it's nice meeting you. I like to connect with you somehow.
Perfect. And so, Shiri, just before we go, as you unmute yourself, we know that at the end of every Shiri Achu project is the beginning of the next one. So, what is in the pipeline?
Yes, you know me very well. So the next, what is in the pipeline is the first Pan-African fabric launch.
Okay. Okay.
So
What is that?
I have created a fabric which incorporates symbols from the north, the east, the south, the west, and Central Africa. It's first of its kind. It's hopefully going to be amazing, and the launch is April. Coming up very shortly. So at least, you know, after this competition, I'll be freed up to really get, you know, dive into the whole launch. So the actual date is the 19th online, but it's going to be a little private affair on the 18th, and I would love to invite you both. So I will definitely send you the invitation.
Thank you for the invitation, Shiri. Just before you go away, could you just drop your contacts, social media, phone?
Yes. So everything can be reached everywhere. Shiri Achu Art, so SH, as you see my name, Shiri Achu and Art. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Shiri Achu Art.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight. Marcel Adig was the producer. We had moral support from Queen V. My name is Ernest Kanjo. For you out there, thank you so much for your fervent attention, and do have a fantastic rest of the Thursday. And until we meet on Saturday, it is bye-bye from this end.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.